Without content, you don't have a brand.
Okay.
Like, we don't know you. Like, you may be really dope locally.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of dope local people, right? But if you're trying to have a global brand, you have nothing if you don't have content. If everybody was to go check their insights and they go into their followers, you go into countries, not necessarily cities. You're going to see that you have a global brand without even necessarily trying, because you have content, right? So it's important to have your message strong and put it out there visually, whether it's through pictures, whether it's through video, whether it's through written, whatever you feel. I always say, if you're starting out, if I wake you up at 3:47 in the morning and I say, hey, what can you create? Like, whatever, okay. Yeah. What's your favorite tip that you love giving? What's your favorite tip?
I love giving tax tips.
Okay.
Yeah.
At 3:47 in the morning with cold in your eye.
Okay.
Picture, video, audio, or written. What can you do? To give that tip. I got thousands of people.
I can do audio.
Oh, you can do audio?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
At 3:47 in the morning?
Well, I mean, I could do written, I guess.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
So that's something that you could do on a regular basis because you're not thinking.
Got you.
You feel what I'm saying? So people overthink creating content because they see everybody else. Right. But if I wake you up at 3:47 in the morning and you're purist, like, okay, I don't even know what to do. Okay, all right, do this and post. Mm-hmm. That means you could do that every single day.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Melanin Money Show. And today I can tell you out the gate, it's going to be an instant classic because we got none other than the Nikki Saunders on the show. Nikki, how you doing?
What's poppin'? I'm good. I'm chilling. How are you?
Good. Well, if you have ever been on Instagram and you wanted to learn anything about
ever in your life,
Instagram,
in your life,
at any point,
thought about it. Even if you thought about it, like, yo, it's the first thing I see.
Then you probably have heard of Nikki. She is the social media guru. She keeps us up to date on everything. Even I think one of the most recent ones I saw was about the insurance. Like, you get insurance?
Yeah.
Crazy. But anyways, let's just get into it because she's gonna give us the sauce. How you feeling? How you doing today?
I'm amazing. It is. I don't even know what day it is, but I'm amazing.
Yeah. You live in life right if you don't know what it is.
No, that's a fact. No, that's a fact.
And I'm extremely excited because we're friends from online.
No, in real life.
Yeah, real life.
In real life.
In real life. We just met for the first time.
Absolutely.
And we're wearing the same shoes.
Yes, and you actually have a shirt. And you actually have a shirt on today. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Coming out the gate swinging. So, again, I'm extremely excited for this today's episode because, I love content just as much as anybody.
Facts.
And I look to you when it comes to content. Like, you're the go-to person for new ideas and inspiration. So, I'm out the gate. Like, before we get to the content, I want your story because I don't even know much about the background of your story.
Okay.
So I'm just curious to know, who is Nikki and how did you become,
So are we talking about the when I was 5 story? Or when, because okay.
Yeah.
So I'll say this. Was in the Navy for 9 years, right? Got out, was very confused on what to do, because I was at IT. So
really?
From what
on a computer.
Yeah, so from what I do now, from what I did then, it's like 2 different things. Cybersecurity, everything like. So figuring it out, I saw a video of a screaming guy yelling at me, right? Who happened to be Dr. Eric Thomas. And so I joined his online community and just started adding value. What the big thing for me was like taking his voice and putting it towards like footage and like putting it together as like mashups, which caught his attention. And he was like, yo, you want to do my social media? Like, you want to kind of do that?
When was this? Like, what year was this?
Man, this was about like 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
It was about 6-7 years ago because I always ended up in like all his events. It didn't matter where it was. My little Honda was driving everywhere.
So you were just pulling up to
I pulled up.
For free?
No, for free. Like, I was volunteering, right? But I pulled up each and every single... I drove all the way to Miami from Virginia and all that great stuff. Oh, yeah, no. And he was like, oh, okay, no. What do you do? Right? Like, what do you... Like, no one believed that I had a 9 to 5. I was still at IT at a bank, just working and everything like that. So I just started adding value where I needed to. And then they were like, all right, take it over. I said, okay. So I got it at like 300K. And I realized that like, yo, you have to be kind of like a fan to make this work, right? And not necessarily the company or the business. So what do everybody want from ET is the bars. It's like, let me hear something so I can move out and like beat cancer, go past this test and everything like that.
You knew that because you needed that.
I knew that because I was a fan.
Okay.
Right? I was just a fan. So I started doing that like 3 times a day, and it shot up, and we're at 2.1 million now. 1 million over in Facebook, YouTube, all that great stuff. So I just moved from like serving and being a fan, and that's kind of where I end up here. Yeah, man.
So you took his page from 300,000
Yeah.
to over 2 million in a few years.
Yeah.
And you started doing this off the love.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I didn't get on the team per se till probably like 2 years. I was doing it for free for like 2 years.
Wow.
That's a gem right there. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, that is like just saying like, hey, I'm gonna come and serve first.
Yeah.
Right, like you first, me second. And has that how you always approach life, or?
It was funny because I'm an only child, so you would think I wouldn't.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
No. But I think because of the Navy, it has helped me like just try to get around everybody and just serve in that kind of way. Because over there, you have to learn all the jobs. So for me, it didn't matter where I was like, okay, I just want to help out. Whatever you need, boom. And I'm not thinking money first because I don't necessarily, like, it's not hard to make money. That's how my mind is. So,
for everybody.
yeah, it's not hard to. So I'm just like, I'm going to lead however I need to lead with you. And if money comes, cool, but I ain't tripping. I'm never stressed off of it. So.
Okay, so what year was this roughly when he was at 300K?
6-7 years ago. Yeah.
7 years
Yeah.
ago, okay.
And so I think I got it to $1 million in probably about like a year and a half. And then just, slowly going up to now 2 mil, 3 mil and things like that. But that first like year and a half, it was an instant change because it was more, I'm not going to pay it, like, not necessarily I'm not going to pay attention to your promos and things like that, but no one wants to get sold on social media, right? Like the core people don't mind the flyers and what you have going on once in a while, but all we care about is what is it for me? And so I just moved on like that. And then we saw the skyrocket. That's when Will Smith reposted of Meek Mill, all these people, because it was like, oh, you're here for us. Okay, I'm with it. I'm with it.
Yeah. So, E.T. obviously is an iconic figure.
Absolutely.
Right? But you share so much game to everybody now. Now everybody's tapped in, so
Yeah.
they can grow their social media.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you've seen? 'Cause I would imagine being behind the scenes, you see a lot of trends and like what really works and growth. Like, what are some of the trends and things that you've seen that have really helped pages just really go to the next level?
Grabbing your phone and recording.
Just super organic. Just
Super organic. And it has a lot to do with the pandemic. Because we couldn't, like, all the cameras and everything, all this right here, we didn't have that, right? So the people who skyrocketed and who showed up were just people who grabbed their phone. Didn't matter how they looked, what they sounded like, things like that, lighting, they showed up. So now that's what we got accustomed to. And so it's like, all right, let me grab a phone. And then, of course, if you look at what's trending, TikTok is killing the game. Yeah. And so if we pay attention to that, that's like, what, 9 to 21 of just people grabbing their phone, having fun. So if you're trying to stay relevant, you go look at what's popping, and then you just duplicate that in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, you can have the high definition kind of content, but it kind of looks like you're selling something. Like it feels like an ad when we see that because we're so used to just you grabbing your phone now. So, yeah.
That makes sense. So what's your recommendation on how much people should like follow trends versus kind of do their own thing?
I would say have a healthy balance I would say maybe probably like 50-50. Because you got to think about it, there's 3 parts that you have to look at. You have to look at it from a brand awareness side, a nurturing side, and a monetizing side. So these are kind of like the 3 content buckets that you kind of need to have. Okay. So the brand awareness side, that's where the trends come in. That's where the filters come in. That's where, the collaborations come in, right? Because that's going to bring people to come to your page, look at it. It's like bait. It's like, hello, this is what I'm doing, right? Gotcha. Boom. Now you have to come with that nurturing kind of content, like some of the, the tips, a behind the scenes situation. What is going to keep them? Because you could bring them, but what's going to actually, Okay. Because if you look at your insights, especially on Instagram, you can always see that people unfollow you.
Yep.
It's a guarantee people
And
unfollow
it's
you.
like shown on business pages or personal or both?
Not personal, but
Okay.
creator and business pages,
Gotcha.
absolutely.
Gotcha.
So that's the turning like followers into fans.
Mm-hmm.
Nurturing.
Yeah, okay.
The nurturing part, and then of course the monetizing part, because you still got to make a bag from
Hey.
the social media standpoint.
Don't forget
Yeah.
that.
Times a day.
Yeah, so at least like if you want to post 3 times a day, that's kind of how the cadence that you want to do. I say it's like also I use a pay system, which is platform, audience, and you, right? So the platform is whatever the platform's putting energy towards, right? That's how you know you're going to get the reach that you need because you're playing nice with them. We're on their space, like we're on their rental property, right? So we got to play nice with them. The A is for audience. You got to play nice with what your audience wants, right? So combining, that's like mad shares, engagement, but also reach, right? So now you have that kind of combination. And then the why is you, because you still got to like being on social media, right? Because it's a tool. It's not a chore.
Right, that's tough.
So, yeah, the pay system is a game changer
Yeah,
for me.
please write that down. I need that. So you said so much in that, right? My mind is spinning with questions. But I want to give people the importance of content. Some people like, this is not worth it. I don't want to post content. Like it's it's scary. It takes a lot of my time.
Yeah.
Why is content so important? And like how do you tell people that to let them know it's a must, not.
Without content, you don't have a brand.
Okay.
Like, we don't know you. Like, you may be really dope locally.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of dope local people, right? But if you're trying to have a global brand, you have nothing if you don't have content. If everybody was to go check their insights and they go into their followers, you go into countries, not necessarily cities, you're going to see that you have a global brand without even necessarily trying because you have content, right? So it's important to have your message strong and put it out there visually, whether it's through pictures, whether it's through video, whether it's through written, whatever you feel. I always say, if you're starting out, if I wake you up at 3:47 in the morning and I say, hey, what can you create? Like, whatever, okay. Yeah. What's your favorite tip that you love giving? What's your favorite tip?
I love giving tax tips.
Okay.
Yeah.
At 3:47 in the morning with cold in your eye.
Okay.
Picture, video, audio, or written. What can you do? To give that tip. I got thousands of people.
I can do audio.
Oh, you can do audio?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
At 3:47 in the morning?
Well, I mean, I could do written, I guess.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
So that's something that you could do on a regular basis because you're not thinking.
Got you.
You feel what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So people overthink creating content because they see everybody else. Right. But if I wake you up at 3:47 in the morning and you're pure, it's like, okay, I don't even know what to do. Okay, all right, do this and post. Mm-hmm. That means you could do that every single day. The things that stop you is your expectations and your thoughts of what works and what doesn't. And there's no like laws that say, yo, this is what content is. This is what successful content is. It's like you could do whatever you want.
Because you see pages like Justin LeBoy.
Yep.
He doesn't show his face.
Not at all.
And it's just tweets and they go crazy.
Right.
You see other people that do just amazing reels.
Yep.
And that stuff is going crazy. So I think the lesson is that if you be yourself.
Yeah.
If you're introvert, you don't gotta show your face. Just
Yeah.
like throughs, or if you're good in front of the camera, get in front of the camera. And I think people need to know that you don't have to sacrifice who you are to create content.
No, especially not in the beginning. Now, granted, of course, you have to understand that if we're trying to have a stable, strong audience, we have to understand we have introverts and extroverts, right? So, like, extroverts will love the videos and love watching because it's quick, straight on the point. Introverts necessarily need, like, more details. Like, so I may read your captions because you're breaking all the way down, or I may look for those carousel posts, blogs, whatever it is. So when you get further into feeling comfortable that I could be consistent and things like that, then I'm going to like, my go-to is videos. So then I may go into more of the written stuff. Okay. Then I may go, and try to cater in that standpoint. Now, the main reason why I do kind of like long captions is because I understand that I have an introverted audience as well. And so now I bait you with the video or the picture or whatever I have, but then I'm breaking it all the way down because you don't know why I did this. So as you get bigger, then you're like, okay, how do I talk to, because if not, you're going to naturally talk to who you are, right? So if you're naturally an extrovert, actually an introvert, then you're going to talk that way through content, right? But then you have a whole other audience that isn't Yeah, that isn't really connecting with your content. They like you because that's why they're following you, but they're not really connecting with your content. So when you're like, yo, my engagement is low, it's maybe because you're only speaking to half of your audience.
What's going on, guys? I'm George.
I'm Jacqueline.
And I'm Carter.
And we are your money mentors. But today we wanted to talk to you about a really special feature, Financial Flicks. Can you imagine an entire on-demand library of financial content across 3 main categories: wealth building, entrepreneurship, and personal finance, so that you can take your finances to the next level?
Guys, when you replace entertainment with education, your life will change forever. Imagine replacing 1 hour of Netflix with 1 hour of Financial Flicks. Imagine how much further that could take you to your financial destination. And we have the perfect library for you.
Yeah, so if you're ready to financial flicks and chill with us to put more of your energy into education, then join us in the club. We can't wait to see you there.
See you there. So obviously this is the Melanin Money Show.
Yeah.
Right? And we try to help educate people in different ways they can make, manage, and maximize their money.
Absolutely.
So from a content perspective,
Yeah.
what are some of the creative ways that you've seen people be able to monetize content where it doesn't feel like they're overselling their audience, right?
So there's quite a few ways, right? One, just native through the platforms, right? So like if you're on YouTube, you have YouTube AdSense, right? So once you've reached about like 100 subscribers and like 40 like watch hours or whatever, all your videos are now going to be able to be monetized, right? So yeah,
1,000 subscribers and 40.
1,000 subscribers. Yeah. So now everything that you already were doing, now you make money. From an Instagram standpoint, right, you have Reels, you have Lives, now they have IG subscriptions. Shout out to all my IG subscribers. And they have a brand manager in the background. They're working on more stuff, right? So this is all native based off invite only. Like if you get accepted to it, the things you were already creating makes money, right? Facebook has pretty much like 7 different ways, from lives to video manager to live shopping, to even if you have like you put rights manager, whoever uses your videos, you could get paid from it. There's so many different ways from a platform standpoint. That's why I'm saying understand what platform that you're on, because you can make about bare minimum 2 to 3 different ways off of just your content alone. Right? Now, of course, you take more control of it where you can add like your own ads, right? So it could be like a little pop-up where it just says, text me this word, and then it goes into a whole little funnel, right? Yeah. Or you can literally just put up like open now, 3 spots left, right? And just be your biggest advertiser, right? And that's one of the biggest things that people kind of like don't really do too much. But you could do it in a way that it's not selling. Like add value first and then do the call to action at the end, right? But memberships is one of those big things, especially for creators, where you're like, you hear the Patreons, you hear the circles, you hear the mighty networks and things like that, where people love what you're creating, what you're doing, what your brand is, and they just want to support. They say, hey, come to this community standpoint, because people just love to be, even if it's an online space, just be around other like-minded people. You put a monthly joint on that. I did that with my lives. See, you didn't know that.
I was saying like, hold on.
So,
talk about that.
I can say it right here.
Okay, cool.
So for those people who follow me on Instagram knows that I never post any of my IG lives. The reason why is because I take that and I put it in a central location and I put a membership on it. So you can get it for free
if you're live.
if you're live,
in the room.
right? If you're in the room, you get it. But then if you want the replay plus a community plus a book club, that's going to be $45.99.
If y'all didn't get that play, bro,
say less.
It's over.
Say less. So she's gave us all sorts of ways. Come on, do you have a favorite platform, or are you?
Oh, I'm an Instagram boo. Like I'm an Instagram. I love now. What I will say, YouTube pays more.
Oh yeah.
YouTube pays more, right? But I love Instagram just because of the freedom of how many types of pieces of content that you could create. Right. It's its own kind of media network, from like videos, photos, guides, lives, everything that you need to do. So I would say Instagram for me, but YouTube because it pays more.
Yeah. What is your creative process? Because like.
That's an open question.
Okay, right.
So for me, like,
you spend the week like thinking about what content I want to create. My videographer comes, we should create all the content. Right?
Yep.
Do you have like a process on how you create content, or are you just creating content all the time?
I'm creating content all the time. Everything's content to me.
Everything is content.
So like if I'm in, like I can create content through here just showing that kind of pattern. There's a pattern, people, that's really dope in the background. And I could create that just saying, yo, what do you see, right? And what does it inspire you creatively? Right there. Take a picture, show that. It'll create conversation.
Conversation in the comments. Mm-hmm. Make the post get boosted because everybody has their own.
Right. So it's the only thing is you have to master your craft to look at content in a different way. Right? It's not hard when you know what you're doing. So like a conversation between me and you, me and you, me and you, I can turn it into a branding and content kind of situation at any moment. I've turned a kid hitting his head at a trampoline stuff over and over again as content. Like, this is how it feels to be on Instagram.
No, like when you had the kid doing the backflips,
Yep.
and the mom wasn't watching,
Yep.
and it was like, yo, this is me posting, this is Instagram, like not caring.
Yeah.
That way, and that went, I think it went viral.
It did.
Like, yeah, almost 1 million views. That was crazy. It
Yeah.
wasn't even your content.
Yeah.
Reuse. People think they have to create their own. They really
No, you don't. You don't have to create. I'm big on not wanting to create every single day because that's draining. Mm-hmm. Right? So you want to use other people's content. You want to repurpose your own content, right? Like you want to collaborate with people. Whatever your main thing that you do, you need to break that down into like 7 different pieces. So like I love going live, right? And so I can create 5 to like 7 different pieces of different real short form videos just off of one live. It's easy. My podcast that I do for an hour, you've seen it. I've done like 12 different clips from it. And I do it in 1 week.
That's content.
Yeah,
Sometimes
but that right there is behind the scenes for y'all to be like, no, that really did happen. You think podcasting's easy. Boom, show that. They hear it and it's like, but that's content.
Yeah. And I think it's so important because we say repurpose, right? Like people think when, posting 3 times a day can seem daunting.
Yeah.
Right? I was scared at first. But then we had a conversation. She was like, bro, you can just repurpose this. You can again, one Instagram live can be 5 to 10 pieces of short form content, and then the live itself. So I think it's very important to know that you don't have to show up every day for every piece of content.
No.
Right? People understand that they'll start posting more. And I told you this the other day. We had a phone conversation. My friend Ellie, she posts like 4 or 5 times a day.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like,
crazy.
I was like, how? Like, why do you do that?
Right.
And her response was like, yo, you watch sports, right? She's like, you watch sports? I'm like, yeah. She's like, what would happen if you turned on SportsCenter after a playoff game and they didn't show up? And I was like, well, I would be like upset. She's like, what if they didn't show up for like 2-3 days? I was like, well, I would probably lose my faith in SportsCenter.
Yeah.
And she was like, that's exactly what your followers say when they look at your page.
Absolutely.
What happens if you don't show up? So we have to start looking at ourselves, especially as content creators, like our audience is expecting us to show up. I need tips from you every day.
Oh, yeah.
So I need you to show up.
That's a fact.
So if people start looking at it like that, I think they'll start creating.
It's a responsibility that some people are very scared of, right?
Yeah.
That, I got to show up something more than me, right? And then it brings that whole doubt of, am I good enough? Is my content good enough? What am I saying? Like, do they understand it? And they stop because the responsibility is a little bit too much. Why? Because then we see all these other people, cancel culture, all this stuff, and they're like, absolutely not. Or they'll try one time after not posting for like 6 months, right? And it gets like, 100, 200 likes when they normally get like about 1,000, and they're like, this doesn't work. No.
You're posted for 6 months.
Yeah, what are you
Wait,
talking
your
about?
post.
Like, the platform doesn't even trust you, let alone your audience trusts you.
That's deep. That's real. That's deep.
It's a fact.
What's your advice to somebody? Well, for everybody, right? Like, we all have content that flops.
Yeah.
Maybe you are posting consistently, but your content flops, and then you feel like, I don't want to keep creating.
Right.
What do you say to that person in that situation?
Post when you're in that feeling, because that next one is probably going to do really dope. Because now you're not caring, right? You're not caring what it looks like, and so you're like, yo, this doesn't work. Forget it. Let me post that. And then all of a sudden you're like getting all these notifications like, what is happening? What is going on? Because we overthink content, right? So we think it has to look a certain way, do this, do that, it has to have a certain kind of filter, transition. If not, it sucks. It sucks to you. I'm not you. I'm your audience, right? So you're not catering to me. You're catering to what you think I need. And you didn't even ask me, right? So it's more on like post when you're in that feeling, because that's going to be some of the best numbers that you're ever going to feel.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think the organic content, obviously posting in the moment, I think that's what people resonate with.
Yeah.
But when you see people who are consistent and they grow, they do start to elevate the quality, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like, what do you feel like is that balance, like, or even you, do you have a kind of a balance of like, all right, well, I'm gonna just have my, hold the phone, have my whole setup. Like, what is your balance of like,
So
quality stuff?
Yeah, so I'm a natural creator, so I'm big on quality, right? Super big on it. But once I understood that I spend way too much time worrying about quality, and then I just went on live and that just reposted that real quick and that did good, I was like, all right, I need to do this a little bit different. So like my podcast, I don't play about my quality. You're going to get that regardless, right? You're going to get that regardless. But like I'll do a mixture of the tips kind of being like, if it's like a series, I'm going to do it kind of in HD kind of vibes. If it is just kind of like just on the go, look, that inspired me, let me do that. Let me just grab my phone. Why? Because for me, this is also understanding the type of brand that you have in your audience. My audience is trying to grow a brand. My audience is trying to figure out content. So I have to work with their kind of tools for them to connect, right?
Because then it seems too aspirational. Like, well, I can't do that because Nikki got the whole.
Absolutely. So that's what you're Nikki. That's why it's working for you. It's like you got that. Like now, granted, there's sometimes I got to stunt on some people because they be thinking that hold on.
Never play yourself, bro.
Right. Hold on. Don't do this. I can get nasty with the camera. Don't do that, right? But it's really a balance. So like lately I've been doing, there's one brand awareness post that I have where it's talking about giving different ideas for Reels and TikToks based off of a sound, right? But there's a formula to that. It didn't even matter what quality I have for it. It's a formula of I'm giving a tip, I'm using a trending sound, and I'm collaborating with other creators because I'm bringing people, I'm showcasing different creators. And so they're going to want to share it with their audience. The sound is trending up, and then I'm catering to my audience because of the tips that I'm giving, right? So I do that real quick. It's the same kind of standard, like need ideas for Reels and TikTok. Click here on this sound. I addressed it with the audience. This is for brands and small businesses. Click here on this sound, but let me show you some examples. And then I'll do 3 of those, and those have been hitting each and every single solitary time because there's a certain kind of formula to it. But that takes maybe 2-3 seconds on the camera. Easy.
That's crazy. I mean, like content can be. I love the fact that you think so much behind your content. Some people just post it willy nilly, and they don't like cater to their audience. And one thing one of my friends let me know is like, start taking a poll, like start studying the comments. People are asking questions, and like you're just posting what you want to post.
Right.
So what I started doing is I started keeping a list of all my comments and all my DMs. So when I get into a creative funk, don't think about what Carter wants to post.
Right.
Go through all those comments, all those questions, and listen to your audience. And then when I started doing that, the post started performing better because like that's exactly what I need. I'm like, I know because you told me. Right. And I don't think enough people actually poll their audience to hear what they're saying.
And you can do that on stories. Any platform that has stories, you could poll them and be like, look, what do you want me to post? Right. But you let me know. Ask me anything that you want. And there'll be people who are just like, I need this, I need that, I need this. Some are going to be dumb. I get it. Some, but also some of you are going to think that you already said that. And we have to remember that people receive information differently or weren't even ready for it when you gave it out. So whatever you posted on Monday, you could probably post it again in a different tone on Thursday. Right. Because now they're ready to receive it, or you once again, that introvert extrovert kind of style. Maybe you kind of styled it a certain kind of way and things like that. So now it's not a matter of, oh, I'm so tired of talking about the same thing. Well, you're getting new people looking at your stuff. Yep. You know, you swear that everybody dropped what they were doing and watched your video and your picture and all that stuff. Yeah. And that's not necessarily true. We didn't even get the notification. You didn't tell me to turn on your notifications.
That's a hack too. Yeah.
So it's like, you could repost it literally on Thursday. You could talk about it again the following week, because I've countlessly talked about staying consistent. I swear every single week. And somebody is like, oh my God, I get it now.
Right.
I understand.
I
understand it. I understand
I
it.
heard this quote one time. I heard this quote one time. It said, we don't need to learn new things. We need to be reminded.
Absolutely.
Right? You know what I'm saying? It's like you just need to be reminded again what you already know you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But speaking of like the consistency, you go live on Instagram like 5 times a week?
Monday through Friday.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really consistent. So what is your behind the scenes of like how you go live? Do you just kind of be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go live about this, or you more calculated? You plan out?
Oh, I'm not calculated at all.
He like 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. Like, Nikki, why are you awake?
No, I'm not calculated at all. I go based off how I feel at that moment, based off what's happened throughout social media. So I kind of check I read the room well when it comes to like Instagram and things like that, and I see what people need, and then I go in on it. Or I just do like a super random rant that somebody needed at that day, right? But it's not super. The only ones that are calculated is when it is like, it's probably like once a month where I'm being very intentional with a call to action. So now I'm giving you a whole masterclass. You're feeling like, oh my God, this is the whole system, which I have no problem giving. Majority of my lives is the whole system, because I have no problem with it, because only 1% is going to do something with it. So I'm not worried about giving it. There's a lot of people like, oh my God, what about me giving out the secret sauce? I don't know. Why am I doing this? And I'm like, yeah, you're not confident enough to even have a brand. Let alone create content. Yeah. Because if you're worried about 1 or 2 pieces of information not to be put out because you think, if I put this out, then they won't, they won't buy from me or anything like that. People need understanding. People don't need information.
Right.
So you can put that out all day, right? You can put out information all day. They go to you because they understand you. You make it seem so super easy. I make content seem super easy for people. So they're like, okay, I rock with you, right? Where other people are like, okay, post 4 times a day and post at these particular hours and this, that, and the third. And they're like, how?
Right.
And I'm like, be yourself.
It's almost like the food court model, right? You go to the mall, like they're giving out the little sample of the Chinese chicken. Yeah. It's like, you're not gonna get full off the 2 bites. You're gonna have to buy it at some point, right? So you gotta know, and you also gotta be confident enough in that your food is good, because the only reason why you wouldn't want to give it away is if it's like, well, what if they don't want what's behind the scenes? But if it's good enough, they're gonna want more. What's going on, guys? My name is George Achampong.
I'm Jacqueline Shattuck.
And I'm Carter Cofield.
And we are the founders of Melanin Money. And the reason why we started Melanin Money is because we know that there's a great disparity when it comes to building wealth among people of color. We have a tremendous mission that we want you guys to join, right? Every single year, we want to help at least 1,000 people improve their net worth by $100,000, which will create $100 million of new black wealth every single year.
Can you imagine $100 million of new black wealth every year? As it stands right now, for every $1 that a white family has, a black family has a mere 10 cents to match that dollar. We want to increase the wealth in the black community so that we can have equal opportunities.
Simply put, we're about closing the wealth gap, and it starts with you.
So, see you inside.
Yeah, and sometimes even if you're back end, because some people be starting out and their back end just isn't that great.
we all been there.
We all been there, right? But it is more on, I support you as a person. That's why I'm very big on personal brands too, because we support you as the human being. We're gonna go through the ups and downs and things like that. Like I have this Instagram subscription situation. We're all trying to figure it out together. What can we post? What is the live? How long does the chat? Like they're in it for the ride because you haven't led them astray with the free stuff. Right. So it doesn't matter once you go into the paid one. They're like, okay, I got you. Don't worry about it. Have communication with me, and we're good because you've given things that have made me money, that has gained me status, everything over here. Your pay, I'm just here because I actually need to pay you back for what you did over here.
That's a fact. That's
Yeah, reciprocity, man.
I think one of the things I remind people is that it doesn't take time to make decisions. We always think that it takes time. It's like, oh, okay, because I've been on Instagram for 5 years, people should just buy from me. Yeah. But you don't need time to make decisions. You need information. Right. So you need to provide them with a certain level of information from the beginning. Yeah. It's all the way bait. I'm not going to buy something if I don't know exactly what you do. Right. Like, you may have an amazing product. You may have an amazing service. But you're not putting it out there.
No.
But you're telling me, okay, super dope package right here. Buy it. Dope. Okay, tell me more. Yeah. Right? Like, that's why if we see, I'm a foodie, so mind me sounding fat for a second, right? But if we see some of these chefs just showing us how to cook the things, we're hooked. Right. Now we're following them. They drop a cookbook, absolutely, because I've seen 19 million of these. Let me get it. Me thinking that I could do it, knowing darn well I'm not going to do it. Oh, you have a place where you're actually cooking it? I'm going. It's all bait. Like, let me show you. You think you could do it. You can't do it. Then I'm going to give you more stuff that you think you could do it. You can't do it. Then let me do it for you. For a premium.
That's probably the best analogy that I've heard in that. Because we always hear like DIY, done with you, done for you, or whatever. But like that concept with the chef, that was genius.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
So you hit on something a bit earlier, just about, your audience riding with you.
Yeah.
Right? And I think it's beauty and authenticity, especially being a content creator.
Yeah.
People can't think that we're perfect. We have to show the vulnerable moments. We have to show that. So I guess, how do you find, if you know the answer to this question, how do you find a balance between vulnerability and just, still keeping your privacy?
So you have to make sure you have limits if you want to do it that way. There's some people that want to do the whole reality TV show. I'm going to show you everywhere I go.
Cheating,
hello! Like, yo, he cheated on me 9 times, but I love him. Like, that's cool. That's great. You want to do that? Somewhere in their mind, somewhere in the world is being affected by this because I'm going through the same thing. That's fine, right? But then there's other people that are like, for me, I put my expertise first. You're going to trust me in what I do. And then I'm going to let you in more and more because now you feel like it's a journey. Like, oh my gosh, she said something else? Yo, oh my gosh, she showed the room? Yeah. I've never seen more of this.
Like showed the sneaker, like transfer.
Yeah.
Oh, this is how our setup looks. Like,
right. Because, and now it connects with you more. So there has to be a balance of where you go, here's a little bit of my personal side, right? But for me, there's certain things I will not say, right? There's like, you will probably never really see much of my parents, right? They're old. I'm keeping them safe. They're not even on Instagram or whatever. So I'll be like, happy birthday. That's about it, right? You'll never really see me with them at home or anything like that. There's just certain topics, but other ones, I'm an open book if you ask me, right? And that's kind of what my audience has been loving because it's like, you are open, but you're not really open. Like, I know you, I feel like I know you, but I really don't know you. Right. So I love, but when they meet me, like, yo, you're really that person in like real life. Yeah, no, I'm dope in real life. Don't get it twisted, I'm dope.
Yeah. It's super cool. It's like people, you see them online, you kind of like hope that they're like,
yeah.
Like, oh yeah, the energy's real. Like,
yeah. No.
You feel through the screen. Yeah. So what do you think is like to that point about like being a expert first? Yeah. That balance of like, I want my audience to actually know what I do and what I want to be known for, but still sprinkling in like some of that like lifestyle stuff. Because you go to somebody like Alex Hormozi's page, right? Right. Gyms every day. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, do you feel like you are able to penetrate more deeply if you just like lean exclusively into your expertise, or is it okay to like still? So you don't seem reachable if you only go expertise wise. Okay. So. And I know this because I manage Eric Thomas' page. So he's all what you see him, but that's how he is in real life too. But when you see him and then people seem like, oh, I can't talk to him. Like if I DM him, he's not going to answer. He's like, oh my God, I know you're busy, this, that, and the third. I saw you. It's one of those situations, yo, I saw you, but let me just DM you. I don't want to come up to you. Like, he's not reachable, right? So where if you show a little bit of who you are,
what you're doing. I've been very open that like, yo, y'all think I'm this super creator, but I go through depression, right? And there's certain times, I don't say that all the time, but there's certain times that I know that my audience needs to hear that and that I go through it, because it's like, oh, you go through a creative slump too. Oh, how are you going? Because you want to make people feel like they are not alone, and that once you pour out a few things that you feel comfortable. Now, starting out is going to be a bit uncomfortable, because you're like, for me, I'm from New York. We super private, right? Like, I don't know you. I don't care about you. Why am I telling you anything, right? But at the same time, I understand that I'm going to be a little bit uncomfortable, but I'm more about impact than anything else. If I can impact you based off me just being this a little bit vulnerable, I've already impacted you with the expertise, but I need you to feel like you can do this too. Because you look at me as up here, I need you to look at me like we are equal. Like I'm doing this with you. I just figured it out a little bit quicker, and now I'm passing it down to you. So that's why like that balance of like finding a feature that will allow you to be open. For me, that's live. For some people, that's pictures, right? For others, that's reels. For others, that's a podcast, right? So you have to find that piece of content that allows you to be a little bit more vulnerable, but also understanding, like, as long as this is not compromised, my expertise is not compromised, because some people will go too personal.
Yeah, then they don't even want to look at you like, you sure you're...
Right.
It personal life is shambles.
Right.
It's almost like a financial advisor and then showing you like they're in massive debt or something.
It's like, bro, shit,
like,
bro.
Wait, like, okay, hold on. Right.
Yeah.
But people want to see the ups and downs, right? But people are scared to show the downs.
Right.
Yeah, and it was really hard for me being like a tax person, CPA. I didn't want to show my tattoos.
Right.
I didn't want to.
You have great tattoos.
Thank you, appreciate it. Right?
Yeah.
And
But keep your shirt on.
right.
Yeah, please.
That's
Please.
You can't go do it too much. Right? I came on live with a street.
He
Like,
can't-
put his shirt on.
Yeah,
bro.
I was like, what are we doing? What are we? You are thirst trapping. That's all.
But no, in all seriousness, I found freedom in being able to like, all right, I don't have to wear a suit every day. I don't have to wear a suit every day. Right. I'm still an expert, but I just want to, I don't want to wear a suit.
Yeah.
And it became freeing, and then I started attracting like the people that actually want to rock with me.
Yeah.
If you want to see a snuffy person, then there's plenty of people over here.
Right.
So I think it's really important that people also bring their personality to their content. Like
Yeah.
You dope. You got all the kicks in the back, and it shows like, oh, I can resonate with you because I like sneakers too. I like kicks too, but I also like content. So I think it's important people bring their personality into their content as well.
Well, that's why authenticity and consistency is rare. Like, we look at social media and we question if it's real. Right? And then when you realize that, oh, this one's real, you keep on to, like, you hold on to that person. Why? Because there's so many people doing that kind of lifestyle or trying to play like they're this big entrepreneur and things like that, knowing darn well you in year one, we know you're going through something. We know this. Like, we see, like, and be upfront. Shout out to the people who say, yo, I rent the cars. Like, shout out, I rent this. Like, shout out to those people, because there's others that just play it. And then when we meet you in real life, it's a whole different story. And we lost trust.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now we lost trust. Right. And I could have gave it. And I'm big on brand trust, because if I have the trust in you, you going to give me the bag.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd rather have about a few people that are going to give me the bag than worry about having millions of people that may just like me. Like, because my bills are probably paid with this group of people. My lifestyle is paid based off this group of people. Mom's good over this group of people, right? Because I'm not chasing millions. I was only made for a specific audience, and if I catered to them, they'll take care of me.
Facts. I think I heard this quote: "You only need 1,000
true fans."
You know what I mean?
Yeah, charge them $100 in like 30 minutes. See what happens.
Yeah. That's so real, man.
So what is your recommendation for, speaking to that charging point, what's your recommendation to like building the followers and like building up like your fans?
Yeah.
And then like when do you introduce them to the monetization? So like let's say you got 10,000 followers.
Yep.
Like should you start monetizing like, hey, I got this community, come over, it's $100, or what do you?
Yeah, you should monetize from day one. The thing is like we don't know the level of ready that a follower comes in. Like some people are super trustworthy. Right? So they see you, oh snap. buy your course, I'm gonna buy that, I'm gonna buy that. Like, I just like you. Like, the way you are, I'm with it.
I'm all in.
I'm all in. Let's go, right? But you're sitting here, no, I can't do that until I reach 10,000. I'm not doing this until I reach a certain amount of engagement, things like that. But they're like, all right, well, I'll look somewhere else because I'm ready.
Yeah, I got the money.
Like, I got the money. I'm here, right? So now, but you have to be realistic. I may have 5 followers coming into here, and I'm set up for monetization. I can't expect that I'm going to get thousands of people just because I set it up. Right? My expectations need to be, I am so appreciative that somebody followed. I am so appreciative that somebody actually clicked the link. I'm so appreciative that they bought, and I'm going to cater to that one person that bought because maybe that's what I'm only ready for. Maybe my systems ain't ready for the hundreds of people, right? Maybe I'm only ready with the 10, 200 people that I have. Maybe only 5 people bought. But there are people who have 30K, 400K that can't get 5 people to purchase $5 worth of things.
What's up, guys? Congratulations on joining Team Black Wealth. But we'd be remiss if we didn't give you a uniform as an official player on the team. So head over to shop.melaninmoney.com and grab your official uniform for Wealth Builders Academy.
We'll see y'all in practice.
Right? So you set it up with, I need to create the system. I shouldn't wait till I reach a certain amount and then just appreciate as their journey goes, because as you are growing, as your community is growing, as your clientele is growing, that's what you're ready for. So if I have 1,000 people in my community, well, that's because I'm ready for 1,000 people. If I'm like, yo, I created this community and I only have 100 people, well, that's because you're only ready for it. Maybe in the back end, your team sucks. Maybe your invoicing stuff is still not intact. You're not following up on emails, things like that. Maybe certain things are just not in place, and hence why you're not growing. So I say day one, do it, because you need to always be ready.
That's a fact. I always tell people that you can live in the house while it's being renovated.
Absolutely.
Right? People think they can only invite company in once everything is perfect. They got the furniture. They got the you can invite people in.
Right.
Because people actually nowadays with social media, they want to feel like they're a part of the journey. Like everybody want to be.
I remember when you was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Like we were at the thing last night, and Miss Business was the first guest on EYL.
Yeah.
Okay, so like EYL is obviously completely different than it
Absolutely.
were, you know what I'm saying, hundreds of episodes ago. But it's like everybody wants to be a part of a good come up story. And so it's almost like you're doing your audience a disservice by trying to wait until everything is perfect. One, because it's never going to be perfect.
Right.
But then 2, they actually want to be a part of that journey.
Big facts. Everybody loves a journey because they want to be included. Even if it's online, we want to feel included. It's just like clubs and things like that. We want to be in a place where we feel accepted and that we feel like we can do it too. So yeah, that's huge.
So speaking of club, click the link in the show notes. Join the Melanin Millionaires Club. That's a place where you can feel accepted.
Nice plug.
Yeah. Wait, that was a great plug. Speaking of that, though, you also have a community of people.
I do.
And you have a course. I bought your course, and it's phenomenal.
Appreciate it.
I thought I was good at content, but I was like, it's levels. Hey, y'all king.
I'm
It's
gonna tell
levels
you right
to
now. I
this.
stole your what is that? The form that you probably didn't change it by now, but like the form.
Oh, when you go to her Instagram, link her bio.
Yeah,
it's a video,
I
bro.
saw that. I was like, I said, Sam, we gotta do this today. I said, we gotta do this today.
I was like,
It was so inviting.
Yeah.
Give me something to steal.
Yeah.
Give me something to steal.
Oh, it's going to have page.
I'm gonna steal.
Yes, I use video ads.
Video ads.
Yeah, I use video ads and
You made us do that after you saw yours.
yeah, it's super easy because normally it's used for like lead generation and things like that and asking. I was just more like, okay, I'm done with these link and bio situations and just let me just talk to the people.
What you need?
I thought it was so, like, I was in her living room. I was like,
Yeah, I sent it.
Who's doing
I was
it?
like,
yeah.
today.
Yeah, so speaking of that, so can you speak to that, your course, your community, who is it for?
Yeah.
How are you helping people?
Yeah. So it's deeper than the brand, right? Name self-explanatory, but it's really for personal brands who are trying to grow trying to grow their social media presence as well as make a bag doing it. So already understand that there's like 2 levels. There's a level of we need the followers, right? That's just I'm doing something right, even though the numbers don't really matter. Deeply inside, it still does, right? So we got to make sure that you get that status, but as well as you understand how to make a bag out of the passion, out of the skill level and things like that. So we have like our community, which is super fire, but we also have I2C, which is idea to creation, which is literally taking the idea that you have in your head and how do I create content, whether it's using apps like InShot and CapCut, whether it is a podcast, whatever it is, understanding the foundation of, choosing the platform, choosing how you create, figuring out the content strategy, right? And just being able to experiment with a group of people who are doing the same thing. So yeah, Deeper Than the Brand is a whole vibe, deeperthanthebrand.com, where you can find I2C and the squad. Yeah, it's my thing.
And we'll put the link to the show notes, guys, if you haven't checked it out. Again, as a person who I thought I was good at content, and I think I am, but you just gave me so many gems in there, and you make content not seem scary, which is so dope.
Yeah, because it's not. It's just you. It's you on video. It's you as a picture. It's if you are scared of content, you're scared of yourself.
I think that's real. Yeah. That's real.
You're scared of content, you're scared of yourself. Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing so much insight with us today. You're super knowledgeable. But we have 2 questions. I got a question.
Go.
So, future. What do you see the future of social media looking like?
It's not a matter of future. It's where is it going to stay? And it's going to stay in short form for quite a while, right? Our attention spans are just a little bit shorter, right? But in all actuality, these are social media platforms that are battling with themselves. And until somebody kills TikTok, we are going to stay with short forms. We see YouTube Shorts happening. We see TikTok. We have Instagram Reels. We have Facebook Reels, right? It's not going anywhere. We have to understand, how do we create the appetizer, which is our short form, and then how do I create the main course meal, which is our long form or our website or our programs and things like that. So for right now, I'm going to say for a few years, it's going to be short form. So.
Still going in with the food analogy. I like that.
Can we do that rapid fire again? Quick rapid fire?
Sure. You go first then.
Okay, so just a quick rapid fire. When I say the word content, what do you say?
She stole
me.
I mean, she legit stole my favorite sneaker of all time.
Air Jordan 3.
Jordan 3.
Okay. What's your favorite brand?
Jordan.
Okay.
And when we ask you, what does it mean to be a Melanin millionaire?
Freedom. Just freedom by looking like us.
That's
beautiful. She knows how to rapid fire.
I was saying,
yeah.
Like in front of a camera.
You said the word rapid.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not going.
Guys, like I told you at the beginning, instant classic. Make sure you tap in with Nikki. Wealth of knowledge, right? It's the Melanin Money Show, so of course we're gonna bring somebody who's gonna bring the game. So thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you click the link in the show notes to check out her programs, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Peace.